All right, welcome in. Welcome back to another episode of Bears Film Room. My name is Dave, cover Bears for SM, joined by my good friend, co-host Ficky, also covers the Bears for Sports Mockery.com. And we have a really fun show for you guys. Our Saturday morning traditional show. We're kind of back at it. We have a game tomorrow where the Bears look to bounce back against the Cincinnati Bengals, against Joe Flacco. And we're going to go ahead and get to our previews, our predictions like we do every single week. But we do have like we do every single week, especially on Saturdays. We kind of go through just some of the news, and we do have a very interesting one here. This is going to be from Eric as well. He kind of wrote about two potential trade targets that the Bears are pursuing. And I think there's actually two more that came available yesterday with the Miami Dolphins kind of cleaning house with firing their GM. But we're going to get to those trade targets. Tuesday is the deadline. And I'll tell you what, Bears win tomorrow. I guarantee you they're going to make a move. I'm not saying it's going to be like a big time, splashy move like a Montez Sweat a couple years ago. Won't bring up Chase Claypool, even though I just did. But I expect them to make a room for maybe a depth piece, right? Mainly because you got to factor in the cap. You got to factor in, draft capital. You got 7 picks next year. So we'll see what they do. But I did want to take a look at some of these names here. But before we jump into that, Fick, like always, how you doing, man, on this Saturday?
Pretty good. Happy Halloween to everybody out there, or post-Halloween. Me and Dave were talking off screen. It was a long night for us, but we're here. We're here for y'all. We've definitely got coffee, some even coffee running through our veins as we speak to get us through this show. But I'm doing good. I'm excited. Not much of good football games today per se, but we do have NFL Sunday tomorrow, so I'm excited about that. And NBA's back, so kind of the perfect time, right? This is the best time in the fall. You got tons of games on. Game 7 for the Dodgers. Toronto, I think, is tonight or tomorrow. So a lot of good sporting events going on.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. The World Series it's been pretty kind of epic.
Yeah, dude. Last night was crazy too. Toronto had a chance to tie it up, and they get that double play at the end. The Dodgers do. Wow, like it's been exciting. That's all you want in sports. It's just like exciting games. So a Game 7, that's like nothing better in any sport. So I'm excited to see how that goes down. And of course, we have NFL Sunday. The Bears play, which we're going to be talking about. It's going to be a good weekend. Absolutely. And
excuse me. Wow. We won't talk too much about anything else. The Bulls are 5-0. I know with the Chicago Sports Podcast, Chicago Bears podcast, did beat the Knicks
last night. Stomped them. They look good though. I'm talking to a couple friends. They look. A lot of young guns. I think Giddey went off for his career high last night against the Knicks, 32 points, nearly a triple-double. So they've been passing the ball around. Ayo's been playing well. Like it's a good squad.
Yeah, they're just a young group. I don't think obviously they're gonna win anything this year or anything like that, but they're gonna be fun, and that's what we want.
You never know though. I mean, look, 5-0, first time since Derrick Rose.
Yeah, look at Indiana last year.
That's got to mean something. Again, it doesn't necessarily. No one's putting them at the top 3 seeds in the East, but I mean that's got to be something. That means they're not ass. And if this team can stay how they're playing now, it's going to be better than what you guys normally are, like 42-42 or like 43-41. So or whatever the record is.
I'm
you guys
hold my breath.
500.
I'll hold my breath.
That's fair. Looks good though. Good start. We'll see.
Absolutely. What happens. But let's speaking of Even Coffee again, shout out to Even Coffee. Go ahead and support them. Check them out. You can use code BFR at checkout. Essentially, Even Coffee, Chicago-based coffee shop, also supports mental health. You can get the single serve pods that are amazing. We're drinking it every single Saturday with you guys. I know a lot of you guys have enjoyed it, didn't know about it, so we appreciate you guys showing the support. Continue to do so. Again, use code BFR for $5 off your first purchase. And so with that, let's go ahead and move into some of these trade options. And it's going to happen quick. You win tomorrow, the trade deadline's in 2 days after. So on Tuesday, I think it's 3:00 Eastern time. We have a couple different moves here. And so the reason why we added CJ Gardner-Johnson. I think that was a very, very well-received move. But then Shamar Turner is out with an ACL. Dominic Robinson is out with a high ankle sprain. And sure, we're getting Austin Booker. That's great news. We'll see how he does. It may take a game or two for him to at least kind of get acclimated to game speed. This is why they might not be done adding help. So in this article here, that GMs is monitoring 2 names on the trade market ahead of the November 4th deadline. One is veteran edge rusher Adrian Key, currently with the Tennessee Titans. The former third-round pick played well over the past 2 seasons with 12.5 sacks, but has battled some injuries this year and plays on a bad team. He needs a fresh start elsewhere, and that is why he's one that is potentially, well, right here it says directly that GM Ryan Poles is monitoring. And the other is Boy Mafe, a former second-round pick. He looked like a foundational piece for the Seattle Seahawks with 15 sacks over the past 2 seasons. He's gone silent this year, getting blanked in 7 games. He does have 21 pressures, though, and that is exactly what those 2 names are, exactly who they're looking for. Jeremy Fowler of ESPN said that edge market remains stalled because teams are demanding too much, but that is expected to change after this weekend when the deadline comes into view. And that always happens where teams kind of just get a little bit more relaxed, not desperate, but at some point you want to try and get something for some of these players that might be able to walk, in about 9 games. This is just me personally that I would maybe look into with the Miami Dolphins yesterday, Fick, kind of firing their GM. They reported that Mike McDaniel is safe for the rest of the year, but I think there is going to be a fire sale there. 2 edge rushers, Bradley Chubb, Jalen Phillips, possible trade targets. I know it's a little bit more expensive and it may cost a little bit more, but I think just even looking at that entire roster, if you see a depth guy, a rotational guy that might be able to make an impact, even at the corner spot, I think would be an interesting move for Chicago, especially given the fact that if you win tomorrow, you're 5-3, and you're essentially right back in that wild card spot, because I think currently they're about a game behind.
Yeah, they're a game behind.
That 7th and final spot in the NFC. So interesting stuff. Any of those names in particular, or any other names out there that you maybe would prefer outside those 4 that I mentioned?
Yeah, so when looking at the edge position, I think it's good to use Montez Sweat as just a reference, right? Montez Sweat maybe doesn't have the sacks, but he's done pretty good, like on a pressure and win rate standpoint. So he has right now, according to PFF, 23 total pressures. So if I'm going to pick anyone out of that group, Boye Mafe has 21 total pressures. Now he has 0 sacks, right? But he has 21 total pressures, and that is a good implication. I mean, that's a good barometer of, are you getting to the quarterback, right? You may not be taking him down, but are you causing, obviously, pressures in the name itself? And he's also graded out pretty well. Let me see here. He's had some actually his week 7 game was his highest scoring defensive grade, 83.4 according to PFF. And overall, he's at a 70.7. So even directionally, right, if you're not taking PFF for its word, he's been at least like average or above. So if I'm going to take a risk for a rotational piece, I'd probably take him. Also, 6'4", 261, right? Montez Sweat, 6'6", 262. Those are ideal size and shape for Dennis Allen defensive ends. So I think that would also fit his scheme. While Arden Key has not performed as well, a little bit lighter, 6'5". He did come off his best game as well in week 5. I did not think he played in week 7, but he's only had 9 pressures. So, and he's also nearly 30. So Arden Key is, unless you're getting him for a late round just to have like a rotational piece, I'm not really caring about Arden Key. Also, Bradley Chubb, old as can be, he has not been the Bradley Chubb that we like of 2, 3, 4 years ago, right? And he hasn't been for a while. He has 21 total pressures, so kind of in that same place. But I don't know. I'd rather go with the younger guy who has the same amount of pressures and has kind of scored better just overall statistically. And then looking at Jalen Phillips, 6'5", 263, still prototype size for Dennis Allen's defense, 26 years old, 32 total pressures. So even more than Montez, and I think his sack, how many sacks does he have? He has 3. So if I'm going to go with anyone, it's either got to be a Jalen Phillips, because what you're getting is Montez Sweat production, maybe not like in the run game as much, but at least from the pass rush, or Boye Mafe, because then those would be huge upgrades to your defensive line, especially with Dio not performing how he wanted. But if you're going to do a big swing, and I wrote an article on this, you know who I would want, and there has been some talks that he might be on the market. Give me the big boy Quinnen Williams off the Jets. Now he's 28, right? Former first-round pick, 6'3", 303 pounds, but this man has been dominant, and he has been for multiple years. He's had a couple all-pro seasons, multiple Pro Bowl seasons, but this year he's not slowing down. 19 pressures as a defensive tackle. Dave, he's had 3 games PFF scored him above 85, and 2 of them above 90. And the man has, he only has 1 sack. He's a defensive tackle, but he's had 16 quarterback hurries, 2 quarterback hits, and then 19 total pressures, which I think is like top 5 in defensive tackle in all of them. So if you were able to give me Quinnen Williams, or we talked about it, what was that, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago with Jeffrey Simmons, like if you're going to do a big splash, I think you're more than likely to get it from the defensive tackle position, because the Jets only have 1 win, and Cam Ward and the Titans, they're probably more of a seller than a buyer because they suck as well, and they fired their head coach. So those are the 2 that I like. If it's like, hey, who are you going to give up a 2nd rounder, maybe a 5th for? Give me Quinnen Williams or Jeffrey Simmons. Like, that's the one I would feel good about, because if you have a dominant defensive tackle, that actually upgrades your defensive line more than an edge, in my opinion, because for an edge, you almost need 2, right? Or you can really double team and get one out of the way. With the defensive tackle, it's much harder to contain. Also, it's harder for the quarterback to escape when the interior pocket closes. As we learned last year with Caleb Williams, interior line was horrible, and it was hard for him to escape a lot of those sacks, because what happens is they force you to the outside, and then your defensive ends are sitting there to contain. So all in all, there's definitely some good ones out there. Those are like my top 4: Jeffrey, Boye Mafe, Jalen Phillips, and then Quinnen Williams. So basically, defensive line. Give me something there. We have a bottom 5 defensive line in the NFL. It's been bottom 5 for 2 years plus now. We've got to find a way to fix it. I would not bet so much on the secondary per se, because some of that is more, well, a lot of that is injury based and not actually skill based. Once those guys come back, we should be set. There's no one on the defensive line where I'm like, oh, you come back, we're good. You know what I mean? Like, they're not even that injured. I mean, you have Dom, like the backups are injured, but your starters are ready to rock and roll, and they still haven't been able to be dominant like we see, or at least average. So what about you? Any of those names stand out where you're like, ooh, well, give me this. If it's like, I don't want to swing big out of those 4, or someone else, who do you want? And then if you're going to make a big splash, who would you want?
I don't want a big splash right now. I want to be honest with you. I don't want a big splash. However, okay. So Boye Mafe, it would probably be, Ben Johnson talked about pressures, and that's a big thing that they want to see, because sometimes, everyone focuses on sacks, but pressures, I think, are just equally as important. You got to make him uncomfortable. That's why Joe Flacco, making sure he's uncomfortable. We'll get to our keys to the game later, I think is going to be important. But I'll say, as far as making a splash, I'm not giving up big capital. I'm not. What I would do next year in the draft is go ahead and draft a young edge rusher, like in the first round. Like, go get a guy that is just a playmaker. You get him on a rookie contract. He's young, high motor. Go get a bona fide superstar. Like, that's what you need. You need an edge rusher. I'm tired of this. You tried with Montez Sweat. You've tried to get, you tried to acquire an edge rusher, and it just didn't work, and it cost a lot. And so for me, especially with Caleb and the structure, like the salary around this team and the financial management, you're going to have to be careful, especially if you're going to have to extend or, pay Caleb. So for me, I think it's time to go through the draft with some of these, get 1 or 2 edge rushers that you can kind of pour into, and you hope that turn into studs. Because I don't think you want to give, now if there's like a Max Crosby, sure, but you had a chance at Micah, and the Bears, I don't think really were ever in those sweepstakes. And that was your one shot to get like a bona fide, it's going to cost a decent amount. And obviously look what you saw, what Green Bay paid, but that guy is unbelievable. And so for me, it's like, I would rather, if you're going to do anything, pay for a Micah, because you know what you're getting. Don't settle with a Montez Sweat where it's like, we're in year 2, and we're like, I don't know if I'm still happy, right, with that deal. And so for me, go young, go through the draft, but maybe, like you said, go and get a rotational guy, maybe a veteran guy that can give you some 9 more games for the rest of the season. Yeah. And so that's just kind of where I'm at, as far as I don't want to overpay for average production potentially. So I'm tired of just like that part. So for me, it's like, go get an edge rusher in this draft, please. Like,
that's you're going to have to. It's going to have to. But you know how that is sometimes too, is like, depending on where you land, you may not get that opportunity to get that guy.
Yeah.
Or you think you get that guy and it's not. That's the draft. We all know that.
Yeah.
But that has to be, I think they know that. That has to be the primary focus is that defensive line. There's no question.
Yeah. You just, as far as like where you're going to put your assets, like as far as money,
it's
got to be very careful here. And otherwise you can get we saw Ryan Pace, unfortunately, like he could draft a little bit. Like you saw some guy, he drafted pretty well. He made some decent moves. Wasn't perfect, got the quarterback wrong. But at the end of the day, Poles had to clean up for 2 years, essentially, to get that roster overturned because of just really not great
financial
as far as like
making,
looking ahead and protecting the future. Correct. Pace didn't do that, and so I hope Chicago obviously does a little bit better. That's really what I like.
Give me Jeffrey Simmons. Well, or like obviously Michael's not in the market now, but you give me someone who's top in their position, Jeffrey Simmons, Quinnen Williams.
Simmons would be.
I would do either of those because those are consistently they've been the top 3 in their position, right? Like same with Micah. Micah's always going to be top 5. It consistently shows you. So the likelihood that you were to trade for him and then he's awful is not going to happen, more than likely, right? So I would be okay with those 2. Now it's going to cost you. You're giving up at least a second. But I don't know, man. If you can get me some DT help, like Javon Dexter's been pretty good in the pass rush, but I think our run defense has been a little sus, especially the beginning of the year. Like you get someone like Quinnen Williams or Jeffrey Simmons in there, that is going to amplify that. I think it would amplify the defense like tremendously. People undervalue the defensive tackle position, and I think that would be huge. And you can still worry about getting your edge in the offseason, right? So you now have your defensive tackle. Montez is still serviceable. He's a top 20 defensive end. You got Montez. You've got Javon Dexter, who's been ascending. Now you have a defensive tackle, Jeffrey Simmons or Quinnen Williams. Now all you have to worry about is getting like some rookie edge on the side who could be rotational or even starting, because technically you still have Dio. So that would be, you'd feel much better going into next season with that defensive line, and then hopefully your secondary pretty healthy because all of them are under contract. So everybody would coming back. Your linebackers are all coming back. So therefore you'd feel pretty good about the defense and where it stands. And then now you have the flexibility to kind of pick the best available because, the offense is pretty good as well. Maybe offensive tackle. But yeah, it's right. Trenches, your first pick either has to be offensive tackle next year or defensive end. Mm-hmm. Everything else is a luxury pick. You cannot.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind getting like a stud left tackle.
Oh, for sure.
Because then you got Darnell Wright on the other side. You just, it's interesting. We'll see. But yeah, again, that's our trade talk. We might have another episode. So we'll have our instant reaction pod tomorrow after the Bears play the Bengals. And then with the trade deadline early next week, we may have excuse me.
No, you're good.
We'll have an episode probably on the trade deadline day where we can go live and see if the Bears make a move, whatever it might be. So if you are listening to this right now, just joining us, go ahead and pull it back about 15 minutes. That's where the trade talk will start in regards to some of these. We had about 4 or 5 names that the Bears might target, and with the trade deadline nearing, it's sure to heat up. So check that out. Go ahead.
Yeah, I want to talk about this comment too. Gruden on Twitter said Arden Key and Boye Mafe are odd names where Jermaine Johnson and Jayla Phillips per Danny Rossini are available for 3rd-round picks. Just to say, we actually talked about Jermaine Johnson 2 weeks ago, right, as an option from the Jets as well. And then we did actually talk about Jalen Phillips on this episode. But the point is there's a bunch of defensive line rotational or full-on impact players that could be available for trade just like every year. It'll be interesting to see if Poles makes
also the money has to line up. That's the thing here. Like sure, it's a 3rd-round pick, but the Bears cap, they're a little bit more constrained than they.
I think
and when they've had moves when they moved for Montez and stuff, they were in such a better cap situation. Now, of course, the cap is a myth, so they can make it work, I'm sure. But
they have. I think they have $7 million, which means they are bottom 10 right now, like an available cap. Next year they'll be better. Let me see here. I think. Yeah, right now we have $7.8 million in cap space, which puts us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11th. So we are 11th in the league with available cap space, like the least amount. So yeah, they don't have much to it's not like like the year before and prior where it's like, oh yeah, they can bring on any contract. That's not the case here.
If they make 10.
it, yeah, what they would probably have to do is if they're making a trade for a big name where there is the cap casualty, they would probably have to give a more richer pick and then have the other team eat the cap, right? So that they have flexibility because they're just not going to be able to take on. So if it's like a Quinnen Williams or like a Jeffrey Simmons who probably is getting paid over $7 million a year, they're probably going to have the other team eat that, and then they make their pick compensation a little bit richer. But should be interesting. Right. Dave, before we move on, we did have one. I saw there was a trade question here, so I want to do that just so we can finish that here. So from Tony-ETPF or 4F on YouTube said, would you guys trade a 3rd round pick for Breece Hall? I'm going to say no.
You said a 3rd?
Yeah. I know Swift's injured, but like, I don't know.
No, I'm sorry. No, I wouldn't. I would try to get that down to a 4th, 5th. I don't think, I would trade for Breece Hall, but not that rich. If that makes sense.
Yeah. And that's probably what he'll go. He might. Running backs are becoming a little bit more valuable now.
And also, it really also determines, or we need to know the severity for the groin injury for DeAndre Swift, because those are very, very tricky, and he is out this week. So that right there, which we're going to get to the injury report, a little spoiler, but him being out a lengthy amount of time, the Bears need to know that right now, because you can't. I love Monangai, but Roshan Johnson's out too. The Bears are kind of depleted there. So I would definitely kind of look into it, but a 3rd is way too rich, in my opinion. For
I agree.
He's awesome, but I just would.
Oh, he's fantastic.
For a 4th or 5th, if you could.
Someone out there's we wouldn't even be able to get him for that, because someone out there would get him for higher for sure, no question. Because he's on a tear this season. Thomas Whitty on YouTube, also Patreon, said, Dave, Ficky, I feel like they need to push the trade line back a week or two. Do you agree? Well, if they keep extending the season, like with more games, then yeah, they're gonna have to. It doesn't make sense to have a trade line this early.
I like it because it puts teams have to make moves like right now. They have to be desperate. So it's like they have to kind of predict ahead. Are we contenders? Are we not? Like, so it's just like there's a lot of. I like that where it's at, because there's a lot of pressure. It makes teams either make moves or they make desperate moves. And sometimes we've seen it where it's like it pays off big time, big dividends for the team that makes the move, or it can be a terrible one like Chase Claypool, right? There's these things where your team, if you're on the bad end, it sucks. But there's sometimes where this pressure for the deadline being, in November, early November, it does create that. However, down the road, you are right. You wish maybe if this was mid-November. The problem is some teams are not going to sell, or some teams are going to sell. So it's like there's a lot of changes in a couple weeks.
If they add, it's not going to get pushed back that crazy. It'd be like 1 week. So if they add another game next year, which sounds like they're going to do, or the following year, they'd probably move it 1 week. But it's going to be in November, so I don't think the shift will be that crazy. And I think you're right, Dave. The point of where it's at now, it definitely does put a little bit more pressure, because these GMs have to project where they think their team currently sits and where they think it will be by the end of the year, because that's what it is. A buyer seller is saying, hey, we think we're going to be contending, or we need to start to offload and get ready for next season. So that's what makes the trade deadline fun. And hopefully we see some good trades this year. I think we saw some good ones last year, some surprises. So I'm hoping we see that as well. Okay, let's get to our first ad read here, and then we can actually get into the preview for this week's game against the Bengals. First off, thank you for watching the BFR Podcast, the #1 show for the fans by the fans. If this is your first time here, please like and subscribe, as it just helps our show grow and helps the algorithm get this show out to other awesome, amazing Bear fans like y'all as we're trying to grow this community. If this is your first time, also leave a hashtag #NewFaceGang in the chat. That's hashtag #NewFaceGang in the chat, and we'll give you a shout out before the end of the show. And if this is not your first time, this is your second time, you've watched over 100 episodes or anything in between, then you are a true OG, and we want to show you some love as well. So please leave a hashtag OG in the chat, and we'll make sure to give you a shout out before the end of the show. Thank y'all for all the support for the #1 show for the fans by the fans, the BFR Podcast. Now let's get back to the show. Yeah. Appreciate the support as always to all of y'all. Appreciate y'all be here on a Saturday morning with us on our normal preview pod.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Let's move to our preview our game preview and predictions for tomorrow, Bears Bengals. And there was just some news. Joe Flacco is going to 100% give it a go on Sunday. So he's aiming to play. All right. Not a surprise, but they are unsure how long he might be able to go. It just depends on how his body responds to the shot and everything like that. So
and that's going to play into one of the AC joint, one of your keys of the game. So I'll let you get to that. But yes,
absolutely,
it's going to be important for a 41-year-old quarterback. Crazy, man. That would not be me. But let's get to the injury report here. So starting off with the Bears, long list as always. I mean, it couldn't be a Chicago Bears injury report if there wasn't at least 3 to 4 people out. But Luther Burden III concussion, he got that mid-game last week. He is out. As Dave mentioned earlier, Roschon Johnson back. He did not participate at all, so he's out this week. Dom Ram, as also Dave talked about earlier, had that high ankle sprain earlier in the game. He is out. DeAndre Swift, we found out about that news yesterday. That was kind of a forced out by the coaching staff. Ben Johnson talked about it, the pressures. Like, we kind of have to take care of him so he doesn't hurt himself. So they made that move. Amon Agbagbemiga is questionable, which is because I think he's been on the list for a little bit. So he actually might be able to play, come back this week. Grady Jarrett, old, he was just rest. Good news, right? So we went through the bad news. Good news, Cole Kmet's back. DJ Moore was a full participant by Friday. Rome Odunze was full Friday. Tyreek Stevenson is back. Joe Tooney, old, so that's not a big deal. And then Olamide Zaccheaus. Now, that's good because I think it was Wednesday when all 4 wide receivers were it was Luther Burden, Rome, DJ, and Zaccheaus did not practice on Wednesday. And so you're like, well, who the hell are we going to put out there? It's good to see that all of them are back except Luther, but we expect that with Luther because concussions, you're never out just 1 week. That is never the case. So long.
Can you pull back up for me, Fick?
Yeah, of course.
Because you look at how long it is, and that's what I saw. I said, oh my goodness, right? But I mean, I'm pretty excited. When I saw this, obviously Swift stinks, Luther Burden as well. But the Bears are honestly kind of getting a little bit more healthy. Tyreek Stevenson being back is so important for this team. You saw last week kind of how, what's his name? Tyler Snoop Huntley was able just to really fire on all these guys. So I'm excited about where this team's at and potentially just to see if Stevenson can at least slow down. It's gonna be hard, but slow down Chase and Higgins. And so, but imagine if we didn't have Stevenson. I think that would be just so pivotal for any quarterback, whether it's Flacco or Jake Browning back there. So to get him back, obviously you signed Gardner Johnson, and he said he's ready to go. So I just like that the Bears are going to have. It may not be like a great defensive showing, but I think it's going to be better because they have more bodies and more talent now to kind of at least compete and maybe get a turnover that we didn't get last week. So
right,
but I'm excited. Right. That's not a bad injury report. It looks very, very long, but a lot of those don't even have a game designation or like a status. So
yeah, that's true.
I'll take
that's
that.
True. The Bears do put like every injury on there too. It's like normally half of the people on there actually.
Yeah, man. You want to get fined $100K?
Yeah, absolutely not, Baltimore Ravens. So let's take a look here at the injury report of the Bengals. So they have their linebacker Oren Burks, who's out, who's questionable with the groin. Flacco news just broke. Thanks for breaking the news in the chat, the BFR family. But he is right shoulder. He is going to play. Interesting one here is obviously trade candidate Trey Hendrickson. A lot of talk about him being traded. He is doubtful with the hip. I wonder if that is actually injury or him forcing the trade at hand. You do have the guard Dalton Reisner, who was sick, questionable. He'll probably play. Typically sicknesses they'll play through. Logan Wilson, the linebacker, actually former second rounder, calf. He's doubtful, but that's because he put in a trade.
He also requested a trade.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. These two doubtful ones, I'm like, interesting. And then Marco Wilson, the hamstring, is doubtful as well. There was also another, I think it was a defensive tackle from the Bengals that requested a trade as well this week. I think it was a backup, but interesting to have like 3 people publicly ask for a trade out.
We lose to this team. Can Jamar Chase request a trade?
Yeah, right.
For the week.
Yeah. Hopefully something pops up. Not actually, we don't want him injured, but hopefully, like, I don't want to play for this team. Doubtful is listed on the injury report. So, but yeah, it's interesting with the Bengals, right? I think we're going to talk obviously about how bad or good they are, but when you see like 3 or 4 people on your team say like, I want out, I don't know. It's never a good sign. Whether you're winning or not, there's something going on there that's a little fishy. So, of course, this isn't new news to us. Every week, our injury report is like triple the size as the opponents, right? But like Dave said, at least this one feels like we're trending in the positive direction. So I do feel happy about that. Guys on IR would love to get back, Kyler Gordon, things like that. But, if everyone's ready to go by that back half and we're facing like Green Bay twice, Cleveland's defense, the Vikings and the Lions, like that's when we need to be ready to rock and roll. Cool. Now let's get to the team overview. This one's actually second week in a row looking good for us, but we know how that turned out last time when we had more footballs than the opposing team. We got beat 30-16, but here we are, kind of similar. The Bengals have no defense, no defense. Worse than Baltimore's. Now, Baltimore had a lot of their injured guys come back, so they played better than what they had.
I think we underestimated Roquan and some of these guys coming back and the coaching that Baltimore has, because their defense, after watching the game again, watching the tape, everything, it was got to give them credit. They looked a lot better, which they've had great defenses for many, many years.
For sure.
So
they have the
talent.
Surprising. Yeah, they have Roquan, they have Marlon Humphrey, they have Kyle Hamilton, they got Kyle Van Noy, they got guys, right? They did lose their tackle, who's I can't remember, Ndambe, but yeah, they have talent, so they were underperforming. The Bengals is a different story. They do not have talent, and they are performing at the level of that lack of talent. They're not good in the pass rush. They actually have a worse pass rush than the Chicago Bears. That should tell you everything. Their run defense is ass, and their pass defense isn't great, okay? The only thing good going for the Bengals right now is in their past two games. Well, once they acquired Flacco, their pass game got better, and in the past two games, their run game has gotten better, and that's what's led them to the some of the wins they've gotten. So you can see here, really, that's kind of the story of the Bengals. For us, not much has changed. Really, when you're looking at the offensive side of the ball, still we only have 12 sacks giving up 12 sacks in the NFL. Credit to Caleb and that offensive line. So the pass blocking's been good. Run blocking's been better of late. That means rushing's been better. Passing's been middle of the pack. When you look at the defense, really our biggest takeaway from this is that's why I want that defensive tackle. Our rush defense is still kind of not great, and our pass rush is doo-doo. So you get me someone like a Quinnen Williams, someone like a Jeffrey Simmons, or even someone like a Boye Mafe, Jalen Phillips to help on that defensive line, just to get like one or two footballs up there would help put this team in more favorable situations, at least get this team to more third and long situations to get the defense off the field. So overall, we are the better team with 11-5 footballs. Like we just are.
That don't mean nothing though.
It doesn't. Any given Sunday, we got burnt. We got burnt last week, right? Look, I go into any game, anyone can beat anyone. It's the NFL, but on paper, we are the better team.
I long for the day when we're better on paper, and I feel good about that, because I've been burned way too many times as Bears fans, where it's like, man, I don't care who we're playing. Even if we get a break, like even against the Packers, where like Watkins was out, or something along those lines, facing a backup. I think at one point we played, who was Jordan Love's backup last year?
Oh, Malik Willis, and he dotted us.
Yeah, and he cooked us, dude.
Yeah.
And that's Matt LaFleur. That's coaching. So for me, I look forward to the day where it's like, we're going to get a break here. We're going to win. Thank God.
Well, it's because
that just never feel that way. You remind me of Anakin right now.
Yeah. Oh, Skywalker.
Yeah, with the scar.
Yeah, no. It's like right on my fucking face, too.
Oh, I know.
Or like a Jackson Dart. That's what he is with his little eye paint. But I was going to say, but that comes with consistency, right? We just haven't seen that yet. You know what I mean? Like it's the faith of this team yet isn't there, because they haven't even done it for a full season yet. Doesn't mean they can't. And then not only a full season, like doing it again. Like people feel good about the Bills. People are always going to complain, right? Bills fans complain when they lose a game. It's just nature of the beast. But big picture, they feel good because the past 4 or 5 years, they've at least gotten to the AFC Championship, or they've been like contenders. So it's going to take time. Hopefully, I agree with you, Dave. Hopefully we get there sooner than later, but we are far from that. So I feel you. I'm going to be nervous as hell for this game, like I am every other game. And until that buzzer ends in the fourth quarter and I see that we are up, I'm not going to be super confident about anything, but should be fun. But you know who is confident? Vegas. Vegas is confident in us for maybe the third time this season. So the spread, they have us favored at -2.5. And I believe this is an away game, right, Dave? We're playing in Cincinnati.
Yes, it's no, hold on.
think it's.
I actually think we are. Yeah, it's we're in Cincinnati, so it's back-to-back road games.
Yeah, so this is actually good because typically the home field advantage gives you at least 3 points. So Vegas is really favoring Chicago if they're giving us -2.5 on the road. Over under though, it's probably the highest over under of the season for the Bears, 51.5. They're saying, hey, no defense. Obviously, Cincinnati's defense.
Well, look
is
at
not
last
great.
week with the Jets and Bengals.
What, 39-38, right? Bears gave up 30 last week, so there you go. That makes sense. I could easily see that going over. Money line, Bears favored -142, which is okay odds.
Yeah,
nothing too crazy. If I was going to bet, which again I always caveat and say, do not bet on Bears games. I have enough anxiety and stress as it is watching them. I feel good about that spread of -2.5. I mean, obviously we'll get to our score predictions at the end, but I think the Bears can beat them by
I like that one
at least
too,
a field goal.
But that over and under, for some reason, if I do feel like both offenses are going to be kind of firing, or there's going to be big plays, like 1-2 play drives where it ends in a touchdown. Hopefully for Chicago, because that's something we haven't been able to do. But that for me, it's like, if you don't get in the red zone, I think Chicago looks pretty good. And so I think there's going to be plays where DJ Rome maybe break a tackle and they take it to the house. So I think this one could be a shootout. And I guess I got to stop predicting a shootout because I thought last week may have been one.
Well, it was for one team. It was for one team.
30. Yeah. Well, we'll see. But the 2.5 spread, I think that looks good for Chicago. I think the Bears should win this. I really do. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
But
yeah. Again,
Vegas, man.
Bet at your own risk. And if you bet on Bears games, bless your soul. But yeah,
very rare.
Just make sure you're going to your daily checkup.
Fun fact: the last time I bet on the Bears was the Dion, or it was who was the quarterback? The last time I bet on the Bears like money line was the game where they won. It was maybe week 2, maybe week 3, a couple years ago, and DeAndre Swift was there. And he dropped
it. Yes, is the Lions.
It was a touchdown. It would have been a touchdown.
It was his rookie year. It was 4th down.
So who was the quarterback? Was it Mitch or Justin?
Mitch. That's Mitch.
You sure?
I think.
Anyways, DeAndre Swift's rookie year, and he dropped that pass. It was in Detroit too, I believe.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's the last Bears game I've ever bet because I was like, I ended up winning like $100-something bucks or whatever it was. But I was like, I'm done. I'm never betting on the Bears again. It was I already get nervous watching this team and get frustrated, but putting money on them. So it's been years.
Yeah, that was 2020. Was that still Mitch?
Yeah, it was Mitch.
Okay, yeah, I remember that game though. That was week.
Mitch
I think that was week 2.
Andy Dalton. Or not Andy Dalton. Mitch or Nick Foles. But I think Mitch started. Yeah,
because I don't think Nick Foles came in till that was the Justin Fields year. Was Nick Foles? Because remember not his revenge game, but his breakout game was the black visor against the Falcons. Remember he had game when he had the dark. You know what I mean? We were down by like 20. Oh my God, who was Mitch's backup? Was that Foles?
It was Nick Foles.
Was he backup for Mitch?
It was Nick Foles. Yeah, he was backup for Mitch.
So he was backup for Mitch, and
he came in Mitch on that Atlanta game.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Anyways.
No, yeah, what a game to bet on. That's exactly my point. I'm not betting on these games.
It's been a while, man. I haven't done it since.
Yeah, no, I can't do it. My
discipline.
Heart can't take it. Okay, let's get to the key matchups here. A good one as always. You know, the king of the trenches. I'm always focused on the trenches, but a big matchup here. Oh, I have them backwards. Look at that. Not funny. So Bears run defense versus Chase Brown. Why I say that is because if you look at statistically, the Bengals' first 4 or 5 games of the season, the run game, they could not get going. Fantasy owners of Chase Brown were pissed as hell because this man was not getting yards. Actually, he's last in the league during that time of yards before contact. It was like 0.1. So this man was getting blown up, kind of like DeAndre Swift his first couple of games, right? Before he even got to the line of scrimmage. Not great. Ever since Joe Flacco got there, at least not the first game, because the first game he kind of just fed Jamar Chase, but ever since after the first game, their run game has been better. And because of that, they've been giving the offenses look better as a whole, right? Who would have thought when your offense isn't one-dimensional, it's harder for a defense, to stop you. So a big one in this is our run defense versus their offensive line and their run game. Their offensive line is not great. It is not. But our defensive line, as we've talked about probably 50 million times on this episode alone, also isn't great. So I want to see how that matchup comes up because, and I'll lead to my key of the game here, a little preview, but if you can make them one-dimensional with Joe Flacco, he's going to, pass the ball and he's going to feed Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. he's bound to make an interception. It's Joe Flacco. He's bound to get a turnover, or if you know it's passing situations, that's an advantage for your defensive line, right? Austin Booker's back, Montez Sweat. You can get to the quarterback. Not that I would ever want this to happen, but a dude's got an injured shoulder. So you might make contact in a way which then negatively affects his play because of the pain he's going through, right? And if you put Jake Browning in there, it is game over. So I feel good about that. So
that's where you wish you had Kyler on a blitz here.
Oh, for sure.
But
Kyler, even Jaquan too. So, but at least, hey, you got CJ. CJ likes to blitz too. It's good for him to be in that position.
Yeah.
So
good point. That's why we got him.
That is
over
my
under
key matchup.
1.5 amount of times CJ Gardner-Johnson blitzes. I'm gonna go over because I think that's something that is simple, right? Simple for him to do. He knows how to do it. Send him. Get to the quarterback. Disrupt it. We'll see.
The Bears are second in the league in blitz rate on second down. I did not know that, but they loved it. We knew Dennis Allen likes to blitz. He blitzes on second and down to get a third and long, which makes sense, right? But they're second in the league on that blitz rate. So I'm out. I'm going to be watching for that. Watch probably not the first drive. I bet the second drive, second down, see what CJ does. I bet you he sends them on some package or have Brisker as well.
Yeah, CJ and Brisker at the line.
Like a double
coming. Similar they do when Kyler was there. So we'll see. All right, let's get to my key.
Let's see what you
quarterbacks,
got.
baby. I think this is where it comes down to. I think the defenses are going to be average, and it's going to see whoever can take advantage of this, man. Who can actually score, convert, when you're in the red zone, get touchdowns instead of settling for field goals. And we'll see if Caleb can do it. I believe in him. The Bears they need some fireworks this week, and we'll see if he can outplay Flacco, who got to give it to him, man. He can still play. He can still play. It's easy when you got Higgins and Chase, but for me, it's going to be a battle of the quarterbacks. That's what this league's about, and we'll see. We'll see, especially if those turnovers don't come for Chicago like last week. We'll see what it looks like, and I hope it's a little bit different. I know Caleb played better when you looked at the tape, but I want to see touchdowns. Simple as that. So,
yeah, look, I mean, it's a quarterback-driven league. So, and look, if Caleb cannot look good against his defense, that's going to be a bigger red flag than anything yet, because this has been easily the worst. This will be the worst defense that he will go against. So you have, and to
worse
be fair,
than Dallas.
Ooh,
maybe they're both pretty bad.
Yeah, they're both. They're like 1 and 2, or like 2 and 3. Like they're.
But you get the point here.
Yeah, you got to go. And to be fair, though, I think we talked about this last episode. Caleb typically plays well against bad defenses, so I'm expecting he'll go off. I know you're expecting he'll go off, but he still has to do it, right? Us saying, "Oh yeah, we think he's going to," doesn't mean shit on Sunday. He's got to go out there and kind of shut these naysayers up, right? This should be like, hey, look, game 25. Let me show you that I still got it. But those are great keys. That's definitely going to be the most exciting part to watch. But let's get to the keys of the game. I'll kick it off here. Let's see what I had here. Okay, first one. You got to continue to give Caleb time. Now, I think this is going to happen because I do not trust, as we've said, the Bengals defense. The offensive line has been really good, but if you give Caleb time, he's going to be able to deliver. Because of that, you got to take advantage of it. You cannot have a slip-up game where you let some stupid defense that's not good end up playing better than what they are. So you got to handle that and do what you need to. On the defensive side of the ball, do not let Chase Brown stay hot. Like I said, 2 plays into 3. Because if you can stop Chase Brown in that run game, then you're going to make the Bengals offense one-dimensional, which you see at the bottom. You do that, I think it's game over. You make Joe Flacco have to throw the ball 40, 50 times, you're going to win the game. It's bound to happen. He's going to throw an interception. He's probably going to get a sack, strip fumble. Something's going to happen because he's putting himself in position to keep getting hit. The variables go up with the more passes you have. That is how they lose games. That is how they've lost games, even with Flacco, or those like, I got to drop back 50 times. So you got to make sure that you make that offense one-dimensional. So most of it's focused on the defense, shutting down that offense, because I feel like on the offensive side of the ball, they're probably going to have a good time. I don't have any worry about that. All right, let's get to your keys. Yeah,
no, before we get to my keys, Fick, let's just take a quick break and we'll get to that. right after. Sound good?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's totally cool. Let's do that here. All right, we're going to get back to the episode real quick, but I had to take a moment to pause and tell you about something awesome that we have cooking up over here at the BFR Podcast, and that is our Patreon membership. You can join our Patreon, the BFR Den, where we have a bunch of great exclusive stuff that happens monthly, like monthly giveaways, private Zoom calls, mailbag episodes, and much, much more to come. I mean, we've got tons of features in there. We've got 2 tiers. We have our top tier, which is $10 a month, our Hall of Fame tier. What comes with that, which is very exclusive, is our private Zoom calls with our members. So every month, you're going to get a private Zoom call with me, Dave, and Jack, and we just get to talk about whatever, shoot the shit, football, life. It's a wonderful time. And then if you want to go to the lower level, we have our Rookie Grizzly tier, which is $3 a month. And what that includes is like the private Discords, the monthly giveaways, the free merch, all the events if we have coming up, things like that, access to exclusive merch that's only for our Patreon members, and any other cool features. You'll get that at the $3 level tier. And then with the $10 level tier, you will get the private Zoom call as well. Now, you can join for free. We do post our monthly calendars in there, so you can kind of see what we have going on each month. And we post our episodes there as well. So if you want to join that ongoing community, which we keep building up, please do so at the BFR Den on Patreon. Also, as well, we give a shout out to all of our Patreon members every single episode that we do. So if you join, we'll make sure to show you some love on every episode as well. So again, you can join the BFR Den on Patreon at the BFR Den on Patreon. And we just love the support. You guys are great. Shout out to all our Patreon members, and let's get back to the show. Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to all of y'all. Reminder, I saw some people talking about in the chat. Reminder, Patreon, our Hall of Fame Grizzly members, we have our Patreon call tomorrow morning. Excited to see some of you here. I think I saw Thomas in the chat saying this will be his first one, finally able to join. So that's going to be fucking awesome. So we appreciate all of you. And of course, we'll give you guys shouts like we always do. Okay, let's get to your keys here, Dave. Let's see what you got here.
Absolutely. So before I get into the keys, another key is to subscribe to the channel. We found out that I think it was almost 70% of you guys that watch are not subscribed. So we appreciate you tuning in. If you can, just hit that subscribe button. I know it's easy not to realize you're not subscribed, but it does help to support the channel, and we appreciate it. So another key, like I said, to this game, I have 3 of them here. Capitalize in the red zone. I kind of touched on it earlier. It's very, very simple. No field goals. Give me touchdowns. This is a game where the Bears offense has to look good. It's a must. It's a must. And that starts with getting touchdowns. So secondly, get pressure on Joe Flacco. I'm not saying get him out of the game, right? I'm not trying to, that's not the type of, angle I'm going at, but just make him uncomfortable. He's already injured. So getting pressure and, an extra hit or 2 here is so important, because if he's sitting back there, he's going to pick you apart. Number 3, don't fall behind early. I don't think this team right now wants to play behind. And I don't think they can. And I'm talking like 14 points, right? You saw it last week when the Ravens kind of got ahead and it really never gave it up. The Bears could not come back in this one. And they haven't really proven to us that they really can quite yet. They've played with a lead a lot. I think it was they were up 20 against the Raiders, if I'm not mistaken. They like to play with a lead, whether it's 7 points, staying up is important. So for me, if you're on the road against Higgins, Chase, Flacco, you can't go down 14-0. You can't go down, 10-0. I just don't think the Bears are built like that quite yet. And they need that confidence. And this is the one where they can get that passing game going. And Ben and Caleb, and I think just the entire team just needs this type of performance from that side of the ball. So,
what's funny though, from this year to last year, Ben Johnson effect, our biggest point differential is in the first quarter. Right now, we're outscoring all of our opponents so far. If you take up the total, 22, we're up plus 22.
It's awesome.
Shit ton, right? But
Ben Johnson for you.
But quarter 2, 3, and 4, I think we're in the negative. So I think it's like -7, -13, and like -10. But you get a big enough lead. That's why we've won a couple, probably more than what we should. Yeah. But it is interesting, right? That first 15, we always get points. Like I think every game we've gotten points on that first 15, which is crazy. So, but yeah, I think that's a good point. You get that lead early, try not to lose it, and then just don't make this game a game. Right? Don't make this. This is not a good team.
Yeah.
If you want to prove that you're a playoff caliber team, you should knock this team out of the water. So, I liked all of your keys. Actually, I liked your keys better than mine. I had to think of some other ones, but those were some good ones. Let's get to the bold takes. Now, these are not as good. We've been on a losing streak here, Dave. It hasn't been great. So we're both 2-5 here. Not fantastic. Sooner or later, if we keep losing, Jack's is going to look better than ours without even having any up there. So let's get to mine here. I had Caleb over 350 all-purpose yards. I got a little bit of inspiration from yours, but I was just thinking, Caleb. I know I've done a lot. Caleb over 300 yards, and he hasn't done it yet. So it is still bold. Every time I pick it, he hasn't done it, but I wanted something a little bit different. I want to be a little bit bolder. 300 yards, he's only gotten once this year, all purpose. I think he's only gotten 300 once. I want him to get 350. I want him to come out.
This is a game that could – this is it.
If you're going to do it, this needs to be your Dallas Cowboys game, right? This you need, and it's not obviously from overall perception. You just want to do it for yourself, and it gives you some confidence boost, right? I believe in you. I think a lot of people believe in you. So go out there and do what you need to do here. So this is more of like a selfish one per se in the bold taste, because I just kind of want him to go off, as most Bears fans do. Okay, let's get to yours. Yours is a good one. I would love to see this too.
Yeah, this is Kyle Monungai's game. We'll see what he can do as the lead back, and I think he's going to get a reception or two. But 100-plus all-purpose yards for Kyle Monungai against take. And, man, I need a win here too. Get me that win column, please.
Yeah, please.
And I would love to see this from the rookie. I think he's flashed a little bit. Now we get to see like what he can do with the full plate, right? The full reps. And I miss Swift because I think he's been playing really, really, really well. But even last week he missed there's a chance for a touchdown there in the red zone where they settled for 3.
And he cut in.
He cut in. And if you would you're running towards Darnell Wright, and they're just he probably could have been a touchdown, right? I understand this kind of hawking you down there and looking, but for me, I am a little excited to see what Monungai might bring, especially in that run game, as far as his vision. So
if I had to pick one, I actually think, not that yours isn't bold, because that is bold, but I actually feel like that can happen. Mm-hmm. I think that can. So. I mean, 350 can too for Caleb, but that'd be the first of it. But I really think Monungai can do it, especially in today's NFL. There's not that many quarterbacks getting over 350.
He had 86 2 weeks ago, 86 total yards. So
yep, that was when we had like 180 rushing yards overall. So definitely possible. He's definitely got the full plate, like you said, the full team reps. So that'll be interesting to see. Okay. Exactly. Get into the part people want to know about. Who is going to win this game? Well, first we got to talk about how are our records looking so far. The Bears are looking better than us, that's for sure. Well, actually, I'm right where with them. 4-3. Dave, you are 3-4, and Jack is 0-2. But let's get into it. Actually, last week we predicted we would win because we found out that Lamar was out.
Did I predict him to win? I thought I still picked him to lose.
No. You picked him to lose with Lamar, and then you flipped it live on show and said I picked him to win. Yeah, so you got influenced by me, so sorry on that one. But this one, I don't need any influence, man. I just think they can win this. The Bears defense is obviously bend or break here, and they have been all season. But I think the offense can put up 30 points. But a big takeaway, I should have put this in the keys of the game, actually, is get a turnover. The Bears, when they have 0 turnovers this season, takeaways, they've lost every single game. If they get 2 or more takeaways, they've won every game. And then that makes sense, right? The takeaways are huge. That's a major part of football. But it's literally been as clear as cut where you win the takeover differential, you win the game. So if the Bears get a play early, anytime, fumble recovery, strip sack, interception, I'm going to feel comfortable that they're going to win the game off the jump because I feel like this offense is going to do what it needs to do. So I have them winning 30-24, and I think it's not going to be that close. That's kind of more like garbage time. Flacco probably passing the ball in the last drive to try to get it close, and it ends like that. Let's get to yours. Oh, muted.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
This one, 23-20, Chicago. I don't feel good about this at all. I think I'm absolutely wrong as far as like the score. I don't think it's going to be this low. I think there's probably going to end this one in the 30s, maybe 34 for one team and like mid-20s for the other. But I think the Bears I've never been less confident. I know you feel like this is a game they should win, but this is also a game I've seen the Bears lose plenty of times before. So all in all, I feel sick making this prediction. I'm thinking about my record being 3-4. I hope the Bears win here, but last week made it very, very difficult to trust this team. And Rook and and Caleb is still very, very inconsistent, where he just hasn't proved that he can win these type of games just by himself with his arm and his talent. I'm not saying he can't get there, but we need to see it. And I hope you're right, Fick. I hope this one's a little bit better as far as the score not being so close, because 23-20, you probably don't feel great about that win, but it's the NFL. Like I said, you saw the Jets beat them last week. They were winless. Yeah. So if Justin Fields and the Jets can beat this team, God forbid, right? The Chicago Bears team that has talent. Sure, they're have some injuries on the defensive side, but you should be able to take care of business here and win against a Bengals team, no matter if it's on the road. So don't feel great. Never truly do.
You should, and I'll be fair. If they lose, I'm not feeling great about this team at all. I'm just gonna make that clear. Like, that is clear cut.
They lose this to not make the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm more optimistic now. No, they're not a playoff team. You can't beat the Bengals or the Lamar-less Ravens. You're not a playoff
but team. That's where they're the 8th seed right now in NFC. So they're the 8th. Yeah, they're
8th seed.
A game behind San Francisco.
Rams. That's right.
49ers are the 49ers are 5-3. The Bears are 4-3. So technically they're right there. The Rams are 5-2. So you're gonna have to make up some ground here.
But they're right in it. They're literally a game off. They're a game off. So yeah, you got to win this game. We talked about the playoff odds. If they lose, drop to 18%. If they win, it jumps to 41%. That's huge, right? So you need to win this game. I did see your score though, 23-20, when I was making the slide, and I was like, oh, is that a game-winning field goal by your favorite kicker of all time, Carlos Santos? Is that what happened there?
Jake Moody. Get that guy. I can't stand Santos, dude.
Let's get to that.
I love him as a player. He's just a good dude, but he can't kick for nothing, man. He so frustrating.
that name haunts you. I know has you staying up late at night here in Carlos Santos. But let's get to the Monday headlines here. I have earned our stripes. Finally, I had to get a pun in there. I think, thank you. Finally, I was like, man, all my past ones have been kind of ass, so this one I feel better about. But earned our stripes. I think that's good. And why I say that is particularly pertains to the offense. Finally, it's like, oh, the offense has arrived, and they just went out there and did what they needed to do. Okay. It wasn't like they had to rely on the defense for 3+ turnovers and favorable field position. It was like, oh no, they got the ball to start at the 20 and they marched down the field and scored points, or they got the ball in the red zone and then they just scored. You know what I mean? Consistently. Now, it's not going to be, they're not dropping 50, so it's not going to happen on every drive, but you want to walk away and be like, oh yeah, they did what they need to do. We were the better team and they did it. Like, no questions. We just feel good. Like a drama-free kind of Sunday where we don't have all these questions after the game. So that's kind of my thought process there. Let's get to yours, which this is the one I would love to see for the rest of the season until like the very end.
Yep. In the hunt, you remain in the hunt. We saw a graphic last week where the Bears were there. You win this one, you're possibly in the playoffs. Like, you could be that final wild card, but no matter what, you'll still be in the hunt, and just looking to grab and get that final wild card. I don't think they're going to win the division. I just don't think it's possible. And that's just due to the strength of this division. So, but I think you're going to have to get into that wild card, you're going to have to beat the Lions and Packers at least once, in my opinion. So we'll see. Like I said, I want to stay in the hunt throughout the entirety of this season. That's the goal here. Play meaningful games at the end of December. Have a chance to get in, maybe at the final week or something along those lines. That's what I want to see. And then ultimately a playoff game would be awesome. We haven't seen one since 2020. I don't even count that, right?
No, that was like a dumb one. Like, we barely got
Shout out to Javon Williams for that drop. But hey, Gardner Johnson was in that game too.
He was. That was against the Saints. That's hilarious. Yeah, what a trick play. And he just dropped that wide open catch. I'll never forget that.
Mitch, best stories of his career.
Oh, so fun. Okay, yeah. So that's it. We're going to do our final ad read here. And then, of course, we're going to do our shouts like always, our Discord, our final plugs, things like that. It's been an awesome show. We love these Saturday ones. So thank you all for being along with us on the number one show, Bears Film Room, the number one show for the fans, by the fans. We really do appreciate y'all. So let's get to this last ad read. All right, before we close out the show, I got to tell you about some awesome stuff that we have cooked up on the BFRstore.com. As you can see here, we have hats, hoodies, mugs, stickers, a whole bunch of fire stuff, and we're always working on new creative designs. Maybe jerseys coming. Who knows? But you can check it all out at thebfrstore.com. Com. All the proceeds from the merch store just goes back right into the show. And plus, we want to give you fire stuff because we want to look fly all the time. And we want y'all to look fly as well. So if you want to support the BFR show, go to the BFRstore.com. We appreciate all the love and support. Now let's get back to the show. Yes, we do appreciate all the love and support from all of y'all. Again, this show would be nothing without y'all fans in the BFR family because, again, Dave and I are fans like y'all, so we go through the ups and downs of this team, and we want to make sure that we also show the love to the true fans of the BFR family and also fans of the Chicago Bears. So we really do appreciate all y'all for joining in on this Saturday morning on the number one show for the fans, by the fans, Bears Film Room. And now, speaking of fans, we got to give, let's go through our shout-outs here. We got our Patreons. Of course, we were going to give our shout-outs to the contest that we have going in our Patreon and our Discord. So first off, Patreon love, as always, Hall of Fame Grizzly members in here. Shout out to Michael across the pond. Gage, who I saw in the chat. Shout out to you. Phil, F you and your Bulls, beating my Knicks last night, but shout out to you. Michael Berry as well. Angie, shout out to you, Angie. Daniel Jones from across the pond. Thomas, excited to see you tomorrow. I saw you in the chat as well. Shout out to you. Tito, and then Dave, as always. Again, much love to all of you Hall of Fame Grizzly members. We'd be nothing without you. And then also our rookie Grizzlies as well. Alex, who's probably lifting as we speak. Shout out to Chris. Ethan as well. Caleb, we're always going to love that first name. Shout out to you, Caleb. And then Jason. And then our newest one, our newest member, adding another lady to the BFR family, Megan McCallie. Appreciate you as well. Thank you, Patreon members. Again, we'd be nothing without you. If you do want to join the Patreon, you can for free. We have our $3 tier and we have our $10 tier. $10 tier will get you access to our private Zoom call, which we have tomorrow. So if you sign up now, you'll be able to get the link to that. And all of it is in the link and description, also on our BFR page as well. You can get links to all of that. Appreciate that. Also, we got to give a shout out to our Patreon winner of this month for the Pick'em League that we have going on in Patreon. Gage, shout to you. You got your gift card to the BFR store sent your way, so we appreciate that. And then also, we got to give a shout out to our Discord winner as well for the prediction winner of the week at Daniel Jones, who won last week. Also another Patreon member, but you do not have to be a Patreon member to join the Discord. You can join the Discord. Links in the description as well. It is free. We have a bunch of great chat on there, all different types of sports. Bears, obviously, we have in there. We have contests going on. We have ways to win gift cards, merch, all that fun stuff in there. Free to join. Link is in the description. So we appreciate all of you, whether Discord members, whether you watch the show live and comment, whether you're a Patreon member, whether you watch or listen on Spotify podcasts, Apple Podcasts, any podcast platform. We appreciate all of you, all your comments, all your love on all of our content. Again, we would be nothing without you, and we just want to make sure we give you a shout out because, again, y'all are what make this show run because this is the number one show for the fans, by the fans, and wouldn't be that without y'all. So thank y'all for being part of the Bears Film Room family. Okay.
Cool.
All right, now let's fire through here. Of course, we got to do our shout outs here in the chat, and then there's some quick rapid fire questions as well. So let's get through it here. So we got Gage in here with the hashtag OG, fire the strength and conditioning coach. I think that was to the injury report list because our list is so long. So I feel you on that. We got Imperil on YouTube as well. Hashtag OG. If we lose, what will your panic meter be? 1 through 10? 8? Like bad? It'd be pretty bad, right? Back-to-back losses against back-to-back backups. It's not great. We do have Thomas Whitty in here with his prediction. Hashtag OG Bears win 35-21. I would love that. We do got Squeegee in here. I just want to give him, because he was giving a shout out. So he said, bear down, Ficky and Dave, FGB. We do appreciate that. Let me see if there's any new ones in there. That looks like all the shout outs there. And then we do have some questions, which I'll be able to fly through some of these. But who are the pass rush options? We did talk about this. Defensive tackles like Jeffrey Simmons and Quinnen Williams are probably on the market. Then people from Miami like Bradley Chubb, Jalen Phillips, and then Boye Mafe on the Seattle Seahawks, and Arden Key on
Tennessee.
Tennessee. Thank you so much.
Yep. Go ahead. Yeah. First 15, 20 minutes of this pod or on YouTube for this video. You can check it out and hear that conversation.
Yep. And then, okay, let's see here. Question here from Sean the Savage on YouTube said, all right, bold take. Who do you think the Bears trade for? I have them probably trading for Boye Mafe or Jerome Ford. Those would be great options. And again, Dave talked about it. Go to the beginning of the show. We kind of talked about who we think they trade for, what kind of trade we'd want, like if we want to make a big splash or not. But appreciate the question there. Thomas Whitty said, did Brown get elevated for tomorrow? We're just rolling with Homer and Kyle. Brown. Yeah, I don't think he got elevated. I don't remember seeing anything on that. So I think we might be. Homer.
Don't forget about DJ too.
Yeah, DJ will get some snaps back there. Well, yep. Okay, let's see. We do have some score predictions. We actually have a Lions fan in here, Don Burr, who's been here before, has us losing Bengals 28-19. I'm sure you'd love that, but shout out to you, Don, for being here. Sean the Savage has always talking about the Lions games. He's going back and forth. Vikings 40, Lions 10. So we do love that friendly NFC banter in there. And then let me see if there's any more. Oh, we got a question here. Well, first off, this is going to tie to the next question, but TJ said, "See Red Nation. Baby 5-0. Yeah, shout to the Bulls. They are playing well." Then M. Peril said, "Did Ficky think that the Bulls would be better than Knicks this season, or was he shocked?" I still think the Knicks will be better than the Bulls, but the Bulls are playing really well. You got to remember the Knicks have a new head coach, and so they're trying to figure some things out in gel. But the NBA, as long as you're hot at the end, that's really all that matters. Kind of in most sports, right? The regular season isn't as important as what you would think, but I'm going to give credit to where it's due. Y'all beat us. We got another game Sunday. It should be exciting to see. Hopefully we can get our lick back. But you guys are playing well. Okay, I think that is it. Dave, any final thoughts?
Nope. We will see you guys tomorrow after the game. Like always, we'll have our instant reaction pod. So be tuned to tune in, subscribe so you can get notified, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bear down.
Peace.